the Fine Five, and the other Ugly Five. Starting with number 5, I've got Green Bay in the 5 spot, and I will tell you,
didn't look good at all against Denver. Really,
did not.
They were dominated,
and they edged out Arizona. So Arizona is not in the Fine Five at 6-2. They're a plus 110, but I got Green Bay in, Arizona out.
Yeah, Arizona, they battled with Cleveland, but good teams pull away in the end. That's what Arizona did on Sunday. Again, Green Bay just only put up 10 points.
Number 4, I've got the Carolina Panthers. A lot of people would probably put Arizona over Carolina. I like Carolina's defense better than I like Arizona's defense. Cam Newton, Carson Palmer, take your pick. They're both playing at a high level. But I'm going to go Panthers over Cardinals and Panthers over Packers. I got Panthers number 4.
Yeah, I'm going to hold a grudge against Bruce Arians for holding out John Brown. He activated him on Sunday, but he didn't play him. Thus, John Brown gave me a donut, a big 0 on my fantasy lineup.
They don't care about your fantasy lineup.
Nope. You know what he said to that? He said, tough bleep. They asked him. Arians said, you know what, guys? That's tough bleep for you.
I like
tough
that.
Crap.
Number 3 in the Fine Five. I didn't have them in. I put them in now. The Denver Broncos. Their defense was nasty. Peyton Manning. That's what the Eagles need from Sam Bradford. A reborn version of Peyton Manning in the last game. The Eagles need something like that from Bradford, where everyone's doubting you, and then you shut them up.
And Manning had the bye. The Eagles have a bye as well, so maybe, just maybe, you can
Time
get
to
something
get yourself
of that.
right.
Yeah.
Number 2, it's the Bengals. They've been in the 3 spot, I think, since week 1. I think they were the preseason number 3, and now I've moved them up to number 2. You really have a couple good teams here. Bengals, Denver, Panthers, Packers, Arizona. But I got the Bengals as the number 2 team in the Fine Five.
Yeah, ugly AFC North type game against Pittsburgh on Sunday. Only put up 1 touchdown in that game, I think. Got to do better than that if you want to try and beat New England or Denver. But, they deserve it. They're undefeated still.
Right now, number 1 is the Patriots. They have not moved. The Pats are number 1 with good reason, and they're going to play the Redskins this week, so there's a good chance that the Patriots go to 8-0 halfway through the season, undefeated. All right, it's time for the Ugly Five now here on the Sports Bash 97.3 ESPN. It was an interesting week for some of the Uglies. Seems like the same teams keep circulating themselves in and out. They're having like a steel cage match to get in here. But I got one for you at number 5. I'm doing it for sentimental reasons. They've lost 5 in a row. Their quarterback play's been heinous. I'm going Dallas this week.
Wow.
It's number 5 in the Ugly Five because it's Eagles-Dallas week. You've lost 5 games in a row. What do you want me to do?
Yeah, I mean,
you're 2-5. Hey, guess what? How many teams in the league have a 5-game losing streak?
If they do, they wind up firing their coach like Tennessee did yesterday.
And guess what? When teams fire their coach, they change quarterbacks. Those kind of things factor into the Ugly Five. A quarterback change already, 5 straight losses. There's not too many teams that have as many issues as that team does right now. And here's another problem for them. They're 1-3 at home.
Yeah.
You're running out of home games, buddy.
They have a built-in excuse with no Romo and no Dez.
Hey, guess what? Everybody's got some excuse. Theirs is they got a horrible, as Phil Sheridan said, they didn't build their team with a backup quarterback, so when he went out, they were not equipped. And as he said, you would think that they would win some game, 1 here and there. Just think about how different this conversation is if Dallas wins just 1 game without Romo so far. And they haven't been able to do it. They lost 5.
I point to Big Ben. The Steelers lost Big Ben, and they stole a couple games. They went 2-2, I believe. They won 2 games.
Losing 5 straight. Even if you think you're a playoff team, and even if you are the best team with Romo, you can't look, Phil Sheridan brought up another good point. When the Eagles lost Vic, Foles came in and won the job. When the Eagles lost Foles, they still were 500 with Sanchez. Right? The backup quarterback keeps it afloat. Dallas has lost 5 in a row. That's why they're in the Ugly Five. It's not that they're one of the 5 worst teams, but they made a bad decision this offseason to go with Brandon Weeden and now go to Matt Castle, where I got people texting me about Kellen Moore.
Yeah, Kellen Moore. It's Boise State.
Kellen Moore. All right, number 4 in the Ugly Five, they are the San Diego Chargers. look, the Chargers had high expectations. You hear so much about Phillip Rivers. They're going to lose Keenan Allen for the rest of the year.
He gone.
Awful story there. They've lost 4 in a row, and they were 2-2 in the mix. They're now 2-6, 0-4 on the road, 227 points given up. They've been an atrocity over the last 4 weeks. San Diego's number 4.
Yeah, they can't. They're having trouble running the ball with Melvin Gordon, the rookie. Fumbleitis there. They just lost Keenan Allen as well.
All right, number 3, Jim Tomasulo, passing gas and passing himself up in the ugly 5. They've gone from 5 to 3. They are 2-6. They've lost 2 in a row. I don't know when the last time they scored a touchdown is, but they've replaced their quarterback. That puts you in the ugly category. When you got to make quarterback changes, that means something's going wrong down there. They traded Vernon Davis. They got all sorts of issues in San Fran.
And he said today that they're going to take it week by week between Kaepernick and Blaine Gabbert.
Number 2 in the ugly 5. They are 1-7. It's the Detroit Lions. They lost 2 in a row. They went across the pond and got waxed. They're minus 96. They've given up 245 points, which I believe is the worst in all of football. They probably are going to get their coach fired, if not at the end of the year sometime soon. The Detroit Lions are the number 2 team in the ugly 5.
And they fired Vince Lombardi's grandson, the offensive coordinator there. How could you do such a thing?
It's like sacrilegious.
Really is.
How is he that bad of a coordinator?
He is bad.
And the number 1 team, look, the only team that has a longer losing streak than the Dallas Cowboys in the end. Think about that statement. They're the only team in the league that has a longer losing streak than the Dallas Cowboys.
By 1 game.
They're the Tennessee Titans. They're lost 6 in a row. They're 1-6, 0-4 at home. They just fired their coach. It's a mess in Tennessee, and that earns them the top spot in the ugly 5. Look, Cowboys fans, you've lost 5 in a row. Tennessee's lost 6. That's the 2 longest losing streaks in the league. How do I keep them out?
Yeah, and Marcus Mariota started off this year. Remember, he had 4 touchdown passes in the first half against Jameis Winston and the Bucs in Week 1.
Sadly, I have in my fantasy team, I drafted Tony Romo, and he's been gone. But my backup quarterback has been Palmer. Well, Palmer's on a bye this week, so Romo's not ready to go. I got to drop Romo, and I got to pick up, and one of my contemplating guys is Marcus Mariota.
And he's been hurt, too.
Ooh. Do I go Mariota or do I go Bradford? What would you do, Chip? That is the Sports Bash Fine 5 and Ugly 5 here on 97.3 ESPN.